It's just gonna be a chill video. In this video, I'm gonna give you 8 tips for shooting the moon. So let's get right into it. It's gonna get dark out there. First tip is to use the longest focal length lens that you have. I'm gonna be using my 70-200 2.8 lens. It's a fast lens at that 2.8, so we should be able to get some great photos with this. Next, we're gonna set our aperture to anywhere between f8 and f11, and that's gonna give us a nice sharp image. You may have heard the phrase f8 and be there, and that was meant to be able to be there in the moment to capture the photo. If you missed it, I talked about it in this video up here, but we're gonna set our range anywhere between f8 and f11 to be able to capture a sharp image of the moon. Next, you're gonna wanna keep your ISO set all the way down in between, anywhere between 100 to 200. I don't wanna really go up too much more than that. It's gonna give you more grain in your photo if you add more ISO. So I try to keep it down lower when I'm shooting the moon. Next, I'm gonna adjust the shutter speed to be able to get the lighting right. You want to have a nice decent contrast between the lights and darks, so I'm gonna be keeping it between 100 to 400, and that's gonna be able to capture a faster image for me and hopefully get a nice sharp image of the moon. Next, I'm gonna set my metering mode to just be the spot standard. That's gonna give me a little bit smaller space, and then focus area, I'm gonna put that at a small spot. So we've got a smaller focus ring in the middle that we're gonna be using. That's gonna allow us to be able to focus in on that moon a little bit better. My focus mode is just gonna be an autofocus. With all these settings set, you should be able to start shooting. Try a few different shots. You may need to adjust some of the ranges a little bit, but check that the moon is in focus. You can zoom in on the photo in your preview and make sure that you're getting a crisp image. Now, one last tip, I haven't tried this before, is to shoot RAW and JPEG so you can crop in on your camera before you send it over to your computer or phone. So I'm gonna set that and let's see what we can get. It's getting dark, so we're gonna have to make this quick. I'm gonna take a bunch of shots and maybe do a little bit of adjusting my settings, but we'll see how these turn out. Definitely way too dark out here to be filming, but we've got some good shots. I haven't been taking them on a tripod, so if you use a tripod, it's gonna get you a lot crisper photo. I'd recommend using a tripod for night photography. That way you can set your camera up and it won't move, and then use a timer like the 2-second or 10-second timer, or use a remote shutter. That way you're not going to bump the camera and move it around, wiggling around. But these are some shots that I was able to get just holding the camera in between the 8 and 11 aperture range, and I'm shooting between 200 to 400 on my shutter speed, and my ISO I'm keeping between 100 and 200. Getting some pretty good photos of the moon, so check these out. I'm gonna go down to f8 and fire. Then we can get in here and check, make sure it's all in focus. Need to bump our focus up a little bit. We can take a faster photo. I'm gonna turn my ISO up just slightly. And try that. Just check your photos, make sure you get good ones. Make sure you've got good crisp line around the moon. So that's pretty good. We'll go in and check these on the computer. found out later shooting that night that I got shots of the moon while it was a supermoon with a partial lunar eclipse, as you can see here. The moon is just partially darkened on this side here, which was so cool. So if you plan your night shoot, you may be able to capture some great moon photography when there's a supermoon, a harvest moon, strawberry moon, or whatever is coming next. All right, so that's about it for this video. I hope you were able to get some crisp shots of the moon. Be sure to subscribe, follow along, and I'll see you guys in this video next. Thanks for watching.